Really, I just chose scene one and went to whatever was there already.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want me to?
No, no, I just went down. I was
Yeah, or
sitting up
switch
high.
chairs?
I like this chair, actually.
Okay.
Hi, Awesome Carl. My dogs don't cry. I was wondering where the audio was. Well, we're just starting the show right now. It's
And if
1
you
minute
want to hear
into.
the great things David just said, you're going to have to go watch our Hangout
Yeah.
on youtube.com/America's Third Party. That can be done at any time. And if you are watching our Hangout live, you can come and chat with us on any number of our things. Right now, we're at vonlive.tv/thirdparty.
Yeah. Big earthquake in Napa Valley today, 6.0 on the Richter scale. And a lot of people are wondering if they should stock up on wine.
On wine?
Yeah.
Well, if they're a whiner, I mean, or I don't know, if they like drinking wine, then yes, stock up on whatever you like. If you like drinking wine, then stock up on wine. If you like drinking beer, stock up on beer.
Well, there wasn't a lot of beer
Don't stock up on
in
milk,
Napa.
though, because
milk is perishable.
It'll go bad.
We found out that the hard way. We got $1 a gallon the other day, and it's sitting down there, and I know if I open it, it's going to start smelling immediately.
I know.
And I'm thinking, should we down 2 big bowls of cereal tonight just to,
we can
polish off some of that? I use it for my coffee, but yeah, and stock up on miniature micro cows. There are small cows available that you could actually buy.
Yeah, you can buy little milker cows.
Milker cows, yeah. Let me see if I can pull up a
or
link to that.
goats. People do goats as well. Goats make milk.
Right, goats are a good option. Look, dial up miniature, if you could, miniature cows. Because I didn't even think they existed until, lo and behold, somebody told me about them. Here they are. Okay, let me bring one into the chat room. Tonight's Conspiracy Monday, but I just wanted to show you how to survive the coming apocalypse. This is one way to do it. Here's a regular cow, and here's a miniature cow next to it, and here's a guy feeding a miniature steer. Isn't that something? Miniature cattle. Oh, and there's a YouTube video, too. Mini cows. Oh, it's telling me who I am. I think I'll just pass on that. All right, let's talk about what's happening. Yeah, small burgers, getting your milk from a miniature cow. I just don't want to be hands-on. I know that in the apocalypse, I won't have a lot of time to go, milking a cow. I'll be trying to survive the radiation from the nuclear blowout. Once the nuclear cloud hits, pretty much everything on the surface is fried. And my biggest concern is you can't really have milking cows. You might have milking gerbils underground in a biohabitat, but milking cows seem a little bit outdated.
Yeah, they do.
When I live under extreme circumstances in the future, hopefully I'll be able to survive this coming apocalypse. I will be living on what I'm prepared for are worm burgers. I'm preparing to create worm burgers. I'm developing a large worm farm next to my habitat, where I guess we can live on whatever. I mean, raccoon milk, full of energy. What would you guys live on if you had nothing? I mean, is there something you would forage for? I understand that during the Good Earth by Pearl S. Buck, she talked about people living off pine needles, actually eating the pine needles. I know that sounds embarrassing to you. But this is the whole idea of eating pine needles. You'd have fur burgers, okay, tacos, hot dogs, whatever you have in the freezer. You would eat muslin. Is that a type of material? Oh, you're talking about people. Oh, I think that's horrible. I know that muslin is a type of material. You can't really eat that. You'd live on rats and bugs and whatever. So you're pretty much the survivor, Carl. Sarah, has anyone ever told you you look just alike? Just like what? Okay. I don't think you've ever tried cannibalism.
Washington.
You're not one of those serial killers, are you, on TV? Who's hiding in our room, who's dining on Chianti and Clarice?
Does my profile look like George Washington?
She is a multi. Are we even in the picture here? It seems like we're so dark that we become like. We almost look like dark skinned like we've had tanning sessions all summer long.
I know, isn't that awesome?
Sarah looks like she likes the color, and it looks like we are stamped. I don't hate you, Sniper One. I think we established that, according to you, you're not the person that threatened my life, and I'm willing to acknowledge you believing that. David, do you think it's a conspiracy that the media won't interview you? Yeah, awesome, Carl. I think it is. That's a good point. Cairo 7 interviewed me, but they won't roll the loop. They don't think anyone has a story here. You know, I'm just exerting my free speech, and they don't really want to make a big story of it because they know that if I pursue this free speech issue, they're in the wrong. So yeah, it's probably a conspiracy to keep the story from growing. Now, I did the blackface video myself on my own decision to do that in 2008. Is
that better?
That's much better. A little bit darker. Now I'm almost too bright. There we go. Perfect. And you're iridescent in that gown. That's beautiful. Now I look like I'm wearing a shirt. Before I was like blending with the background. I didn't have any body. I was like a floating head.
What would you like to talk about? A fresh start.
I adhere to honesty. You know, I notice that Conspiracy Mondays have sucked these days, and partly because we haven't really applied ourselves. We need to put our brain to work here. Last Conspiracy Monday, we talked about the brain and the effect of fluoride on the pineal gland. I think a lot of you are concerned that your pineal gland is being calcified or fluoridated. And I don't think it's as serious as you might think. I think we can defluoridate over time once we go ahead and make sure we, like this little area in the brain, right above the medulla oblongata, is the pineal gland that has it has the ability to have intuition. It makes your brain much smarter. In my case, my pineal gland is so large it occupies most of my brain. So I have maximum intuition. I see things coming before it happens. I'm just kidding. But would be nice, yeah. So let's put our brain together here and come up with a conspiracy that you'd like to talk about. Lake Oroville, California, before and after pictures. This is the new quake, folks. Just came in.
Whoa.
Check it out, dude. No, this is actually water.
This is not
depletion.
This is from the drought.
Yeah, I thought this was some sort of right. This is before, after. The before and after pictures of the coming drought and the coming apocalypse, all caused by chemtrails. How many of you believe that chemtrails are causing global climate change? I'll tell you right up front, I do. I believe that this government of ours is geoengineering climate change as we speak. You might think it's a bogus idea, but we really are being slammed by chemtrails, and they do it publicly. They actually talk about it, but because the mainstream media doesn't make a big thing about it, and they paint anybody who talks about it out to be a whack job, most of us are relegated to the whack job position if we think that. But we really research this, and it's really going on. The government's outright doing it in our face and boldly, without any question, oversight, or verification. Do you think the global warming has been caused by this? No, I don't. But you could argue that that could have caused a tear in the ozone, sure. You know, I don't know. The James Foley story is evolving as a real story. And I'm beginning to wonder what really happened to James Foley. Because there's no inquiry and no verification, we're still sitting on the question mark, what happened? Same with Benghazi. Same with Abbottabad. I mean, why didn't we ever show a picture of Osama bin Laden's dead body?
But we do show a beheading of James Foley.
Yeah, but they do show a beheading of James Foley. And then the government paints it out like they prevented a major terror attack by Lady Al-Qaeda developing a secret weapon that only targeted people, adults, not children. I mean, some bizarre story that was put out in the Daily News in England. We profiled on our last Twitter posting. You can look at that. No, I am not Jewish. Climate change is caused by 11 years solar activity, which just ended, and this made the rabbits and cows fart twice as much as usual. Now the mini ice age is coming, starting this November. Yeah, you're right. Well, that's true. We are entering kind of a mini ice age. I was here on the West Coast when Sandy Hook happened. That fateful day when the government, I don't know, gathered together and had an event, a staged event, and allegedly claimed that Adam Lanza died at that location. Maybe he did die at that location. I don't know. What's really interesting about Adam Lanza is he was under the FBI radar 5 years prior. He was a hacker. Most people don't know that. Adam Lanza was a hacker who was extremely good at getting into government hacking, government computer systems. And he literally, and I have proof of that if you'd like me to bring it up. Would you like to see it?
Sure.
Okay. I'll work on that, and Sarah can talk to you guys.
Really? That is strange. Meow TV 2. Very strange. Well, it's not that...
Hi, Sunstar.
I don't believe him, but I always like more evidence, things like that.
Well, I want to show you
Sunstar.
something.
Hello, a fresh start.
Absolutely. That was a really interesting link that came in.
My day was pretty good.
Your day was pretty good? Yeah. I didn't even have a chance to ask you how your day was. Got a lot of stuff you did. Good. I burned a lot of the perimeter.
Oh, good.
So I got the weeds down for...
around the ditches and stuff?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, not that area, but a lot of other areas.
Oh, like the fences and stuff?
Okay, so we don't really have a...
I haven't seen the video of the beheading, Awesome Carl.
Yeah, we can't verify it right now.
I don't really... I guess I just don't really want to watch something like that.
Have you guys determined that it is a fake video? That it was some sort of a... Does it look fake?
Yeah, dog.
Have you been looking at it over and over again after... out of your... You're no longer watching Faces of Death, so now you're just looking at the James Foley execution video? Some of you might be doing that. I mean, feel free to share your fantasies. I'm really not into looking at the gruesomeness of this supposed terrorist world that we're living in. Yeah. How do you feel that Awesome Carl has more viewers than you right now? Wintard, I don't know what you're saying.
Awesome Carl is in the show, so he's going to bring all his viewers into our show.
Yeah, Awesome Carl's visiting
you,
right now.
Obviously, Wintard, you're coming into our show from his show, so
yeah.
There you go.
It's fake, made by a professional, and people question it's even the right guy. Meow TV, okay, so I take your valid opinion seriously, Meow TV, based on the fact you have 6 PhDs in feline psychology, is that it? I believe you. Nice. Okay, so maybe it is fake. Maybe they're just trying to create the fear of terrorism so that they could launch another war, make Americans think, oh, we're so unsafe, we better keep it over there, so keep fighting terrorism over there. That's the theory. The conspiracy theory is that all these terrorist activities that we hear about in the news is all hype to make us all worried that we're going to be attacked, so therefore they justify war. Jerk of Fan says all the news is fake. I'm numb to it all. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way at this point. I'm not a big InfoWars supporter, but we'll take a look at the link in just a second.
Hey, Mad Dog.
Okay, I'll take a look at that link. Thanks. Here we go.
Oh, all your URLs were removed.
Oh, all your URLs were removed? Dang. You're making backdoors.
Because I really wanted to get that one to stop ADHD naturally without the need for drugs.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't have that. Yeah, I agree that we should question everything.
Well, isn't that weird? The story is gone from my section. Oh, here we are. This is it. All right, this is the story. Hopefully it's there. The FBI officers went to Sandy Hook in 2004. This is an interesting little venue. Remember seeing this? Yeah. So this is a... I'm going to put that over there just
temporarily. They're suspicious of him when he was only 12.
Yep. Okay, this is the link. FBI officers went to Adam Lanza's home in 2004, asked him about how he hacked through 2 layers of government security, but his mom told him he's a computer whiz who's just testing himself. They became suspicious of Adam Lanza when he was only 12 because he had the ability to hack past a government website security barrier. All right, so there is a story, in case you're wondering. There's the ISIS link too, folks, for all of you who want to know more about ISIS and what the government's doing. Thanks, 2014. Okay, we've already convinced ourselves that maybe Adam Lanza had more going on that the government wanted to eliminate. I could give you more information? No. That link is all I can give you right now. And again, that's the Daily Mail online, which makes you wonder. Mailed Online, it's called.
Thanks, Tricep Bra, for coming in, and thank you all.
This is the same news story, same news venue that broke the recent story about the killing of James Foley, preventing Lady Al-Qaeda from developing a terrible chemical weapon that was going to kill only adults.
All right.
It's a bizarre story, which, so you wonder, is this true? Now, why would they make up a story about them visiting Adam Lanza in 2004? That's not like that would help the FBI or the CIA. Never mind. Wasn't that great, Rodney?
Well, you'll have to come in when we're playing like Call of Duty or something.
Yeah, we played a really interesting flying game that was just all over the place. It was very active, but Sarah was good at it. She took down quite a few MiGs in the air. Okay. See what the DoD is hiding. I was warned against sharing this microscopic analysis of U.S. artificial snow. Interesting. Warned against sharing this. Thank you for that link. Wow. So the story about the chemicals in the snow that appeared in everywhere from the South Carolina, all the way up to Chicago. People were talking about it. And right before global climate conditions started changing in the country. It was very, very strange, Spawning SquarePants. Hey, welcome to the show. Long time no see. David, would you engage in homosexual activities? No, I'm not gay. No, I'm not. I'm trying to just formulate some opinions here without passing final judgment. I'm doing what is comfortably called ruminating, discussing issues, wildly discussing issues. I don't know anything about Mario Balotelli. What do you know about Mario Balotelli? Can you name that song? Let me see what I can find out about Mario Balotelli. Signs of Liverpool. Okay? No, I'm not talking crap. I'm just fielding ideas. Liverpool signed the Italian striker Mario Balotelli from AC Milan on Monday for a reported £16 million. That's 26.5 million US dollars. Taking a calculated gamble on a headline-grabbing player known as much for his controversies as his goals. 19 months after ending a 2.5-year spell with Manchester City to play for his boyhood club, Balotelli will take on the inimitable Muhammad Ali in the ultimate smackdown. He'll be stumbling against Balotelli on the field.
Soccer.
Muhammad Ali is still alive, isn't he?
As far as I know.
Yeah. The most recognized person in the world. I do think this country is headed toward another war in the Middle East. I wish it wasn't.
Sniper One, you can always go to Stream Up. David will post the link.
It's Rick Larson, not Glenn Larson, Troll Dog, and he wasn't the person directly responsible, I'm sure. Many bad seeds are in the Democratic and Republican Party. And I know many of my fellow broadcasters on TBN have been very concerned about their antagonism toward the Christian right. I'm kidding, of course. I'm not on the Christian right. I hope we all you want a war with Russia? Wow. You really are bored, aren't you, Sharpton? Why don't you go ahead and gather at another city and try to foment racial hostility? It's amazing. The elitists have been trying to trigger racial hostility with this recent Ferguson attack, bringing out broadcast journalists to just film people just standing around malingering. And it's really amazing they can't create a race war in America because everyone's too fluoridated. You see, nobody told the elitists that you got to lower the fluoridation in the water supply in order to make people think enough to get angry. So right now the fluoridation level's perking and everyone's basically apathetic and bored. Doesn't that sum up your whole life?
You're doing fantastic.
All of you?
Yes.
Oh, I am too. I'm apathetic and bored too. I'm one of the many.
And bored.
We're all apathetic and bored, but I'm just saying I'm one of you.
I guess it depends on the subject. When it comes to politics, I am a little bit that way.
I'm a little bored too. Hey there, have you played chat room for Xbox? DJ Stingy and I and Sarah were in the chat room at the gaming show just about an hour ago, talking about how we could actually create a game show called Chat Room. Kentucky man, good evening. Hello, welcome to the show. I hope you're feeling okay. You know, I want to make sure that the coal miners in America have proper gear. And I also want to make sure every single coal mining operation has an oxygen room set up within 500 feet of any one work site. Would that help or not? Something that has piped in fresh oxygen or even tanked oxygen where guys could go in there and kind of, you know, unwind after a heavy day of coal mining. A lot of coal miners face serious danger. Kentucky man, yeah, so I'm kind of tuning in on what you guys need. We've got over 790,000 coal-related jobs in America.
So like oxygen tanks or what you're talking
Yeah, well,
about?
oxygen and, you know, like a complete netted area, complete plastic, the whole deal where it's just fresh air and they can sit there and drink a cup of coffee and kind of unwind.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, why would we have that in every single coal mine?
Of course, they would be bringing in that coal dust on their clothes into that area, so.
Yeah, it's true, but you can't help a little contamination.
Yeah, but it would be a lot less than in the regular coal mine.
Yeah.
Maybe they could, like, line the part of the cave that's already been mined with plastic or something.
Well, yeah, part of it could be mined and turned into a plastic safe room for people to unwind. David, you face a lot of online danger. You're full of crap, according to most. No, Sniper, here you go again with your threats. You see, that's a veiled threat. You've got a veiled threat right there. You see? Yeah, see, I've been saying all along that you.
No, I'm not tone deaf. I'll talk louder for you, Carly.
Carly's suffering from hearing damage.
It's just because I talk low and I'm far away from the microphone.
Palpatine, tonight is a black tie or a black shirt night.
David always wears a black shirt on Monday night.
Conspiracy Monday night always has a black shirt. Sometimes I wear a tie and a black shirt, and sometimes I wear this shirt, which I got off a heroin addict in 1985.
I'm not meaning to yell.
I
will just speak louder.
Just speak a little loud, because you tend to talk back here.
Okay.
They're just
sorry about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're too loud. Will you start me watching Orange? Is the new black at all? We saw the first one, and we were so disturbed by the gratuitous sex and
I saw one episode of that show, and I was not impressed.
Well, Palpatine, I was working for a guy in somewhere near Hollywood, and he was this man about 5 foot tall, Chinese American, who's inherited an entire business from his parents because they wanted to help him get off his heroin addiction. So he started developing a production company somewhere in Los Angeles, and I managed to bump into him, and he says, you work for me, and I said, great, let's do something. So we tried to put a show together in a certain area, and we were going to have all kinds of newscasters, and I would interview these people, and he wouldn't pay me a penny. It was all on spec that we'd produce this kind of a show, a venue for a certain region in Los Angeles. And all the while, he just wanted to get laid. He put out a billboard ad just to bring in actresses to be spokespeople, just to have them interview. And then he told me later that he had done this in order to get laid, because he was short and ugly and a heroin addict. And at the end of our relationship, I ended up getting this shirt and a couple other shirts. He said, hey, you want these shirts? I said, yeah, okay. That's all I got for 30 days of my work.
Thank you, DJ.
He was a horny Chinese man who just wanted to get laid, and he used this billboard ad to lure people in, and I felt like I was duped. I felt like everybody in the entire group was duped. And it's a nice story, isn't it, Meester? But it's so true of the naked city of Los Angeles, California. When you go to Hollywood, you see people snorting coke right in front of you. You go to Washington and they're vaping a little pipe.
Do you need any coffee? Because I'm going to take a break in about 6 minutes.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to go get that.
Sorry, but just wanted to give you the heads up.
Sure.
Anyway, all right, and I'm also going to check out. I'll open up. No, that's old. I'm going to check out what's happening in the news really quick. David reeled me in he met me in an online chat, kind of like we're talking now, and then, except there was no video at that time, and we started talking on the phone, and I really like David's phone voice. I like all of the, David has great voices, but when he talks on the phone, there's something I really like that. You can log in your username, or you can't. Yeah, one has to be precise. True. As much as possible. It's always good to be precise. Maybe I should unban all. Do I prefer talking to David via the telephone or in person? Well, now I talk to him mostly. Now I almost always talk to him in person, but I still like talking to him on the phone sometimes because kind of gets, he kind of changes his voice over the phone. The browser was being difficult? Okay. Oh, that's pretty funny, a fresh start. No, I've never had that happen. I don't know why it's not letting you log into your username. You can just be here as a guest 2809. What's your regular name?
You can help yourself.
Thank you, 187. I'll be working on that.
I don't have a Dremel, no. I decided not to buy it because I'm so into woodworking. I spend all my time working with the Dremel, and it would be a waste of my time. Thanks, Rodney. Please hand me the link. I'll take it anytime. You've been busy. You've been taking antidepressants, and your sex drive is gone. Yeah, that's not uncommon, Carly. Don't be surprised if well, I know a lot of people have trouble with that. Rick Larson is a warmonger who supported ratification of the war in Iraq and continues to endorse this massive buildup of military strength, which we don't even need. Most of the F-18s that we're forced to listen to as they use our populated region as a training ground. So basically, he's just one of these glad-handers who does whatever people tell him to do. He's not leading on issues of the environment. That's my biggest criticism of him.
Are you serious? The U.S. they're allying with Assad to fight ISIS? That's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, well, it doesn't surprise me. The entire Middle East is convoluted. We don't know where our country is at any given time relative to any one country. Okay, did I get to leave and you haven't kicked me? You like my debate strategy? No, Sniper, I felt that you were a bit veiled threats were coming out of your chat. The biggest thing I see with coal mining in my area is the county isn't getting the coal severance money like they were promised. Oh, really? So the county's not benefiting from the mineral rights, essentially.
Oh.
That's really disturbing. So there's the link. Carl was bad-mouthing somebody. Okay, let's take a look here.
Yeah, I would like to see a candidate that could, in the two-party system, but I don't see it possible. I mean, yes, David could potentially get elected if he continues on going the way he goes, but one thing I really think he needs to be careful, and that's insulting the viewers. that are asking questions. Yeah, some of you guys ask questions that are inappropriate, but what they should be doing is most people expect a little bit more of a I can't describe it, but
hey, thanks for that. That's Carl, and his opinion is he's entitled to his opinion.
Can we delete that?
No, I just want to add this to our library. That's one of those ones. But thank you, Carl. Or thank you, Carl. Yeah, thanks for your opinion, Carl. But thank you, Rodney, for making a record of that. We'll take a look at that later. Yeah, it's interesting. People have different views as to how people should be, and they have every right to their own opinion. If you have another one, go ahead and send it in. I'll add it to my library. Well, Carly, I understand the frustration people are feeling right now. I mean, they expect results. The third-party candidate is already named as a bad opportunity for America. So I have a lot of ground to make up, and I don't think Carl realizes that we are getting slammed on all different levels by many different people. Is he gay, Nancy? I didn't know.
I don't think so.
Winchell, what's going on? Okay, Sarah, you can take off. Is he okay? I didn't know. I met Carl in New York, and I don't try to. He classifies me as frustrated and struggling politically. Well, okay, that's acceptable. Hang on. I think anybody would be frustrating.
I have it. Oh, and for the record, I've started. I haven't started adding videos yet.
Okay. Yeah, you can take off.
Okay, I'll be back in about half an hour or so once David comes back. So, I think everybody is entitled to their opinion.
Thanks, Nancy. Yeah, he can certainly do that. Hey, it's awesome, Carl. Carl, you're expressing your concern about the frustration we're having and the fact that some people are insulted by our show?
No, when I was explaining it, they were stating that you seemed hostile towards me, and I told them, no, you're frustrated because of the troll.
Yeah, exactly.
You try to have a serious political conversation. All this guy does was take a whole bunch of different clips and try to make me look bad.
Yeah, what they're trying to do, Carl, is they're trying to bait you into saying negative things about us. And you know, you're entitled to your opinion, and I'm not really concerned. I'll take a look at the tape later myself, Rodney, no problem. But bear in mind, you're entitled to your opinion, and all of you are airing frustration as to why a third party can't get started. And Conspiracy Monday is the perfect place where I'll address this. There's been a plan by the two-party system to keep a third party out. That's one layer that's kept a third party from growing in America. That plan's even in the code, the election law, preventing people from actually getting on the ballot because of the laws in every state. There's also a general feeling that anybody who's a third-party candidate is a whack job. They're characterized by the media that way. And that's been a serious hurdle to overcome, and obviously, you know, I'm not going to be able to overcome that because there's so many issues now that seem to be not what they appear to be in the mainstream media. We're seeing stories about Benghazi being spun a certain way, so that we're supposed to believe that Benghazi happened. It was just a strange occurrence and some known terrorists that did this. We don't know who took out Chris Stevens, but there may be way more to it. And anyone who discusses Chris Stevens' fate, for instance, is considered a whack job if they say maybe the government wanted to get rid of Chris Stevens. The airstrikes in Syria are predictable. Kentucky, man, are you talking about the airstrikes in Iraq? Because those are the ones I'm referring to. Airstrikes in Iraq were necessary to stop the growing rebel resistance by the Sunnis. But there's other elements in there that if I talk about those, people will claim I'm a whack job. See, whenever I focus in, dial in on any one subject and talk about all the inconsistencies in the media, people will call me a whack job. So there's that other factor affecting third-party people. So you're up against a lot, you know.
Well, Meow mentioned something today too. He mentioned something that's true. The people that want people's power will just demand recount until they get what they want, pretty much too. And they create a lot of election fraud and false registration. You know, and that hurts third parties too.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Well, we don't turn anybody away because you have a dislike for certain things that, you know, we are doing on our show. That's fine. You know, the nice thing about having your show, you can talk about it. Yeah.
I support a lot of the stuff.
Thank you.
Some of the ideas I may not agree with.
Yeah.
But like the job, increasing our job ideas or cutting the fat. Neil was there, by the way, today too, watching the show, so he can even ask him.
Yeah, well. Do you like watching our show when we show Michelle as a man? Was that fun for you, or are you offended by that video?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't really care either way.
You don't care?
I mean, to me, you do what you want in your show, and that's your right.
Hey, well, we're not asking Carl to, or any of you to agree with all of our ideas. I'm glad you came in, Carl, because it's a chance for us to actually tell everybody in the room, you guys can disagree with me on almost every issue. We'll still gather together in the center and try to find compromises that will make sense for this country. I'm not bringing up a non-issue. Everything's important here. Confirmed strikes on ISIS by Egypt and Emirate air raids. Okay. I'm not loving irrelevance, but thank you, Carl, for calling in. You have any other questions?
Oh, no. I just, like I said, I like most of your ideas and stuff. The only thing that concerns me is, you know, how we're going to get rid of a lot of the illegals that are currently here, you know, because you know they're not going to want to leave and come back legal. That's ability here.
Right, exactly. We've got a common thread. We're both concerned about the rise of illegal aliens and non-U.S. citizens in our country that get all these benefits. So that's another issue. No, that is irrelevant, what you're saying. What I was talking about is more important, actually.
I got more flyers, too.
Oh, thank you.
There's some more ETT flyers I'm going to put in there.
Okay, great. See, Carl's helped support us. I support your show, Carl, and I'm glad you're enjoying what you do. This is all about sharing your ideas and having your own fun. It's good to share on our show, though, and you guys, you know, need the opportunity, all of you, to do this. And Carl's taking the opportunity and seizing the reins, so to speak. Many of you might want to do a broadcast like he's doing. All right, cool. You're rolling joints with my flyers.
If you guys like them too, is like have a different time of day, like when they're not on. Maybe give people the attention saying, hey, there's some people. Like I've only got one picture of you guys. It's actually where you said you were the white ninja. You had like a little just mask on. And I was like, two people are running for 2016. You know.
Belfast Riot Squad wants to know why you have an IRA tattoo when you're a civilian. Are you in any way affiliated with the IRA? I do. I do, Winchell.
You can tell that most of these people are probably Rodney or Rodney's friends. I have no tattoo.
You need to talk with the voting public. I do. Well, you're a voter, Carl. Let's talk to you. Are you going to?
And I'm a taxpayer.
Are you going to vote in the upcoming election in the finals, or did you vote in the primary in your area?
Honestly, I was working that day, and it just totally slipped my mind. But yeah, I will in November be voting. It's just right up the street. I mean, it's like I can walk 25 minutes.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck voting in your area. Do you have a guy you picked out, an independent, that you're going to vote for?
Not really. I got to see who's running. But my whole point is to vote for people that are not currently sitting on their butts doing nothing.
Yeah, there you have it.
I got to do a lot of research.
New blood would be nice. I think incumbents are going to lose this election, and a lot of incumbents are going to go away. Go ahead.
Like they said, let's let's make us famous and get rid of us and all these people in office that aren't doing anything.
I'm a colonialist from the way back. My family settled on the East Coast on the ship right after the Mayflower, and my family on the other side, on my father's side, my namesake, arrived in the 1850s or so, 1840s, and settled in North Dakota. And then my family migrated to California and then on up to Washington. That's how I was born in America. All right. You'll sell your soul for the right price. Okay, I don't think I would do that, Big Mr. E. I don't have anything I'd like to purchase. I'm done buying things in my life. I pretty much have everything I need, except for an honest dentist. I'm always looking for a good, honest dentist. I'm happy with what I have in life. I don't need to have more, so it's doubtful I'm going to be bought off by somebody who wants to offer me more. I've already taken huge chances just running as a third-party candidate. My descendants, my ancestors, you mean, are Indo-European. I am not a lizard or a reptilian, if that's what you're asking me. Yeah. So are you going to do a show later tonight again, or do you do shows all day long, Carl?
I do once a week. On Monday, it's usually 6:30 to 7:30, but tonight it was a little bit later.
Oh, okay.
It was more like 8 o'clock because I have technical issues.
Oh, okay.
I try to avoid the times.
Yeah.
The show is doing your pre-video stuff.
Thanks.
Basically, I like to watch the show too on Monday night.
Right. No double dipping. So, okay, good. Well, we've got a lot of things to talk about. Sure.
I was going to ask, or suggest, I know you want to pass government salaries, but is there a way also to cut the wasteful spending? Like, for example, road work right now. They're doing road work, like, right down the street from where I live.
Yeah, I know.
An example of waste. They just did it 3 months earlier, and it was perfectly fine. Now they're repaving it again. Does that make any sense?
It's happening here. You're seeing public work ripoffs right now. The two-party system is leading us to all these public works contractors doing unnecessary paving jobs. They're replacing telephone poles in our area that could last another 20 years. All right. Thank you. I think I'm going to drop off the call now, though. But I appreciate public works is a definite area where people are losing money left and right. All right, Carl. Thanks for calling in.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay. You have a great night.
You too.
And I'll watch the show.
Thanks a lot. Take care. Okay. Yeah, public works is a huge drain. In our state of Washington, we're $90 billion in debt right now. And the Republicans and Democrats in our state kind of walk in step whenever it comes to contractors. They say, oh, yes, go ahead and buy another $42 million ferry that was originally priced at $15 million. Oh, yes, we need another $160 million road, even though we just paved it 6 years ago. Oh, yes, we need to do electric poles, even though they look fine. And so all of this is going on. It's the tax and spend liberals and the Republicans that like to support big business. It's a partnership of crime and corruption mixed in bed in Washington, in government. In our state of Washington, it's really serious, and that's one of the reasons why I stepped into the foray to try to stop it, but I couldn't. They proved to me that they'll cheat, they'll steal my signs. Butt sniff, the people I talk to get a bag of mixed indica and sativa, and that way they don't know what they're going to get, and it seems to work for them. That way they don't get a little bit too down, and they don't get a little too up at the same time. That's what I hear. I hear it's a good mix. If you kind of jog back and forth between the two, it's like, gee, whatever, I can't even hear it. And then, hey, man, I just want to talk. So there's a lot of things you can do on either indica or sativa. David, well, I knew awesome roads during the summer, but these are saved routes repaved insane amount. Oh, I know, it's an insane waste of money. That's what I'm talking about. Washington State went $90 billion in debt doing this. No, I don't need to ask Lars Sponheim for any. Yeah, he has not won every single election he's been in. Lars has lost a lot of those elections, Joseph. David, you Soul Train myth on your show where the Americans do try to claim what? No. Belfast, that's ridiculous. We're not anything. We have nothing to do with white supremacists or David Duke or any of those people. I don't support the concept of any one race being bigger than another. Yes, blackface will be returning October 31st. The pre-production show is ready to go. I will be revealing the new Blackface 2 preferably a couple weeks in advance on YouTube. I'm going to do a little pre-screening of my outfit, which I'm getting right now. I'm putting it all together. No, that's okay. I don't need to learn anything from Lars at this point, Joseph, and he's not my blood relative, okay? He just lived on the farm that my family started and built in a small town in Norway. Yeah, he's not a blood relative. But thanks for asking. He just happened to be one of the squatters that lived on the farm, the Sponheim farm, that had a winery there. But thank you for asking. And don't tell me he's any better than I am, because we're not in competition. The Alaskan pipeline should be fixed. It was already set to go when Bush left office. Obama should have masterminded this by now. I don't need Botox. No, I don't. I've actually been told that my skin is supple and well healed. But what we have growing in America is a new Nazi state, and soon to be led by what appears to be the Democratic hopeful Hillary Clinton. But she's got turncoats like this guy, Lindsey Graham, who does need Botox, saying things that echo of the Nazi era. When the NSA revealed that they watch over 100 emails a year, he says you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. And Google said you have nothing to fear if you have nothing to hide. The very same thing said by the propaganda minister of Adolf Hitler. So we are headed toward that Orwellian time, and they've already prepared Hillary for the job of president. Basically, they believe that they can get whoever they want to be president. And recently, when Hillary was asked, why do you think you should be president? She said, because it's my turn. Because it's my turn. I should get that face down. It's a pretty good face she's got there, I must say. Whew. Okay. Yeah, I just was checking it out. I just wanted to see if I could do a Hillary impersonation in case she wins in 2016. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried. But, you know, with this kind of a dynamic woman hiding from somebody throwing a shoe at her, you can tell that our country's never been stronger. You can see that when paid pundits and people that have been sucking up in the political system so long that they practically have brown all over their face become the next president, like George W. Bush, or Barack Obama, or Hillary Clinton, you'll see that we're really in trouble here. They've got everything controlled. Well, I know, I'll work on it. No, she didn't have brain cancer after all, Nancy. She just couldn't testify on the Benghazi case. She developed a serious head injury right 2 days before she could testify on the Benghazi situation. You know, the dead 4 people that never had to die, for some reason they did. Is making $100 million per month from speaking engagements and all kinds of shady transactions. Noble is very on here. It says that Hillary Clinton has made $100 million per month from speaking engagements, and she claims she was broke. Recently, the famous story that came out that she was somehow running out of money during the last days of Bill Clinton's presidency. I mean, that's hilarious. Let's take a look. Here's her I'm so poor girl look. I really show this because it paints her in a more positive light. Even putting, you know, that sex symbol look on her is kind of harsh. But yeah, she's trying to pretend like she's broke and she's making tons of money. She is lying to us. Joseph is the Nazi? Thank you. He's been doing background research on me. He's Bad Dog. Thank you. He's been researching my family. The guy is psychotic. He's stalking us. We have a library on him. Hi, Joseph. Yeah, you are obviously a Nazi. Kennedy fell over and smacked his head of the book depository. You want to talk about the JFK assassination? You know, many people, even John Kerry, have openly stated that they believe that JFK was killed by somebody other than the one lone assassin. I was shocked to find out that John Kerry felt that way, but here he is talking to a newscaster.
As the 50th anniversary of the assassination of John Kennedy approaches, Secretary of State John Kerry has inserted himself into this folklore by recent statements that he's made on NBC.
That's that he was motivated by himself. And I'm not sure if anybody else was involved. I don't go down that road with his helps. But
what he had to say about the issue of the JFK assassination.
Let me come down on the conspiracy theories. To this day, I have serious doubts that everybody else will. I certainly have doubts that he was motivated by himself.
Serious doubts that he was motivated by himself. So even he believed there was some nefarious plot to kill JFK. Not to mention JFK Jr. He died a strange death off the coast of Hyannisport. There's a story out. I talk about this on Conspiracy Monday. It's pretty interesting. It's at Rense.com, and it's the story of JFK Jr. having information about his father's death on the plane, and he was taking it to D.C. when it was taken out. This story is well worth looking at if you haven't seen it or read it. Well, let's be clear. Rodney, have you read this one? You believe he was taken out? JFK Jr. was taken out? He was starting to look pretty good politically at one point. Yeah, it's a Rense.com article. It's all about the murder of JFK Jr. 10 years after it was a retrospect. But it talks about how JFK Jr. had files implicating George H.W. Bush, the head of the Dallas division of the CIA at the time, implicated in this as one of the people handling the case in which led to the death of JFK. You can look that up on your own. Our government is corrupted. What as a candidate can you do to battle this situation? Mr. Big E, good question. Number one, I can implement a strategy to lie detector everybody at the upper tier of government so that we can and then slowly work our way through the lower tiers of government so that we can make sure we have good quality people instead of complete lying scumbags running side ops. Even our agencies like the CIA and NSA would be lie detectored. Justice Department would be lie detectored. That's just one level of security. We can also implement a plan to eliminate the power of the lobbyists by getting rid of tax loopholes and credits. An idea we're hashing around, just simply getting rid of all loopholes and credits, forcing 77,000 pages of tax code down the drain, and all the activity of lobbyists is about getting discounts and kickbacks and credits for all their corporate donors. So it lowers the ability of lobbyists to control our country. That would be another major factor in eliminating corruption if we could get that past Congress. Yeah, so there's a lot of things that we can probably look into, but I can't, as a leader, spend all my time working on conspiracy theories. That would be ridiculous. I have to move on. We have to constantly look forward, and I don't think I need to promote Hillary here, so I'm going to pull her off and bring myself back on. This is the green screen. All right. I wish life was not as complicated as it's becoming for a lot of Americans. Many of us grew up thinking apple pie really was apple pie, not reprocessed animal protein or whatever. We're finding out all kinds of things. GMOs are everywhere. We're finding out that poison in the ground and the water that we drink and the food we eat is getting to be more and more disturbing. Joseph, I'm just checking on you. We're having analysis, chat analysis right now. People are doing analysis on your chat, so you are being watched, Joseph. Don't worry about it. If you're not the Nazi, you have nothing to fear, but fear itself. David, would you like me to have a truck and drive it? No, can't do that. Sorry. Nah, I can't do it in a truck. Yeah, and Colgate has triclosan carcinogen. FDA knows it. Omelets. Fluoride is definitely a serious, just as bad, if not worse. It's actually worse than lead, and almost as bad as arsenic. But they put it in our water system. I know. The Senate Intelligence Committee would be the overriding factor in determining if the CIA has the ability to lie detector everybody at the top. I can't make that determination. I'm fully aware of that, but my recommendation would be for lie detection at that point in order to get an honest CIA. Well, I agree, Belfast. A lot of people are basic lying psychotics, come on here and talk endlessly. I'm sure Glenn Larson, whoever that person is monitoring the chat. Whatever. I'm sure there's somebody out there named Glenn Larson doing that. Rodney, I don't think that's a relevant issue here, and she doesn't have to pay me anything. Joseph, we're just trying to flesh you out. Right now, you're appearing more and more like the Nazi. So the more you continue responding in a defensive manner, Joseph, the more likely we think you are the Nazi. So I would take a low-key approach and say, no, I'm not, and stop questioning everything I do, because that's what the Nazi does. How is this Nazi? You mean, who is this Nazi, Joseph? Hey, what do you think of the Tea Party? Kentucky, I believe the Tea Party hit the nail on the head when they talked about fiscal constraint. Got another flyover going on here. They're all day long here. I'm all about fiscal constraint, but they kind of moved into the social conservative direction, which alienated a lot of people. And a lot of people got worried that maybe they were a lot of gun-toting, serious conservatives. I support the right to bear arms, of course, but I'm not out here pushing weapons on our show. You know, I don't frequently talk about weapons. If I did, I would be a warmonger like Rick Larson, the guy who's running for the U.S. House in my area, that I'd like people to write in my name instead of his. If I talked about that all night long, it would be rather disturbing, I think. I mean, we could talk about all kinds of potential armaments, but what's the point? I'd rather talk about unmanned aerial vehicles. Let's talk about Joint Special Operations Command. Here's a recruitment video for a group called JSOC, which has been involved in unnecessary deaths of innocent people around the world, in Afghanistan and areas around Iraq, Yemen. Check this out. This is an organization that was put together right around the time Jimmy Carter lost the helicopters in Iran, those 9 failed helicopters. They built the Joint Special Operations Command unit, which basically does whatever they want worldwide to implement strategies which only the president can dictate. Now, it's unlikely I'm going to be able to get rid of JSOC, but I could make them more humane in their attempt to resolve America's problems, killing innocent people, unarmed people, strikes just to test weapons. I mean, this is absolutely disturbing. Just because I support the right to bear arms, Noble, you want me to literally, you're just leaving me because I support the right that is guaranteed on our Second Amendment, and you want to take that away. This guarantees our right as Americans to defend ourselves. All right. No, this is JSOC. Research it. Joint Special Operations Command. If you want to see a really good movie, it's called Dirty Wars. It's all about the dirty deeds that these people have done under past presidents. All right. Check it out. Well, you disagree with the system? Oh, hang on. We got a person who disagrees with the system. Well, welcome to America's Third Party. Yeah. We all disagree with the system, too. We just want to change it, you know, in a way that would help modify it, make it better. I have not seen that, Rodney. I'm afraid of things like that. It might cause me to lose my eyesight. I might go blind. Kentucky Man says he's all for guns and owns 30 himself, but we need some better laws. I agree with that. Yeah, you were making fun of my hair, tossing Dave Salad. I'm sorry for banning you. It's not... Hey there, buddy. Hello, Mr. Sunheim. Hello, Mr. Citrus Sunheim. Hey, Ed, welcome to the show. You know, we don't get visits from Hoppy anymore. You notice that? It's kind of funny. Hoppy, I think, realizes that he's not welcome because he lied about his military record to all of us. Awesome Carl says, David, my biggest worry is that we're losing our friends. We'll have to fight them to get them back. Carl, under Obama, we've already lost cities like Fallujah and Mosul and Tikrit. They've already fallen to the rebel Sunnis. We've already lost so much that our men died for. You know what's interesting? Right around the same time, Barack Obama traded Bergdahl for 5 known terrorists that killed thousands of our men. You phoned the cops? Is there somebody bothering you? I read too fast. The Senate Intelligence Committee cannot take your recommendation on use of the lie detector as just letting you know. No, I understand that, 632. Except the FBI, US, and some of JSOC, that's the only community. Exactly. JSOC will take my lie detection. Once we got JSOC working on our side, we'll deal with the CIA after that. I got a caller. Thank you, guest 632. I knew that. Homeless man. Homeless man. Oh, go ahead, Ed. What's up?
You were like, you had a few Hungry Jack viewers over the weekend.
We've had a lot of viewers. We were trying to get America to back off of war, but as you can see, the government is just revving up. They want war in Syria. They want war in Ukraine. They want war all over the place. What's wrong with these two parties, Ed?
I had no idea how many independents I could give that.
Well, that's the point. A lot of independents are growing all around. We don't really want to alienate you guys.
Maybe you can get Rodney on your team.
Yeah, here's a concept. We could actually use the CIA to benefit this nation, not just create wars that support big money. Wouldn't that be great if the CIA were on the same page as Barack Obama?
Oh.
Huh?
Oh.
Well, I mean, for instance, the CIA could stop funding. They could stop funding ISIS and supporting interception of the Prime Minister's role as the leader of Iraq. Now that we have a new Prime Minister coming. Yeah, I'm going to drop out of the call. Do you have any questions, Ed?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, call back when you do. Thanks a lot. Take care. Okay, yeah, you have to have a question when you call in on the show. What's your question, Noblesht? 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 No bull crap. I get it. I was wondering how to pronounce this. I thought it was a French word. No bull crap. It's like the word mow de lawn. That's actually French for cut the grass. Mow de lawn. Isn't that right, Meow TV? See, I learned a French word today.
That's good, Carl.
A lot of people have been saying that the beheading video is fake. Do you believe it's fake? I have not seen it. I have not seen it either.
I've not seen it.
I believe it could be faked. Thank you, 785. I believe that the nature of the CIA has been to create a fear of terrorism around the world, and mostly in America, so that we want to fight it over there, so we continue justifying this military-industrial complex, of which I'm trying to stop a lot of the wasteful spending. I support an advantage around the world. I support using UAVs. I don't support running 20-year-old hardware like F-18s and F-35s in the sky, and they go so slow now. They're not even used in battle. We've never used an F-22, for instance, a Raptor. We've got 187 of them. We've never used one in Iraq or Afghanistan. So we've got a lot of toggling down to do on spending, and I really don't support this military-industrial complex. That's my concern.
Yeah, I agree, Noble.
I didn't call you a Nazi, Joseph. They did. Yeah. But they said you're the Nazi. Now, you can't prove that. But we have a person who's been stalking us. Yeah, I said that's what they said, that you're the Nazi. We can't prove that you are the Nazi, and it doesn't really matter. So why are you sidetracking this entire discussion? Right.
Well, there is an individual that's definitely fits all of those categories, I would say.
Right.
But
I'm explaining.
You're not that.
Well, Joseph, you were just called out as the Nazi who's been stalking us.
If you said something negative about David, then maybe he thought that you were that.
It wasn't
person.
me. It was Mad Dog thought that. I was just responding to Mad Dog's belief wholeheartedly that he was a Nazi. Yes, how can you make a difference in an established government? Mr. Big, a third party is going to be a brand new face for American politics and foreign policy. That's a huge move. It's going to put a lot of the two parties on edge, thinking that, wow, we are losing ground. We're not grabbing the American voter. And it's not serious. Joseph, just relax. If you're not the Nazi, you have nothing to fear but fear itself. Thank you.
You're great, Joseph.
Basically, we just need to build a third party that protects your rights, supports your rights. Restoring your rights is an automatic thing. Once I'm president, I will support your right of free speech, your right to publicly assemble, your right to bear arms, your right to privacy. I will not engage the NSA watching your emails. We will not do domestic surveillance. These are my commitments to the American people. There's a lot of fear comments. Everything's very presidential here. Thank you for complimenting me.
Yeah, you couldn't find any McDoubles there, and
the only thing you have to fear is fear itself. Necessitous men are not free men. The great FDR really spoke clearly on this subject. He outlined a Bill of Rights, an economic Bill of Rights for all of us. Gave workers opportunities that we would never really have. And now Obama's ignored the American worker, ignored the American people, has done nothing in 6 years but pass unnecessary legislation that's killing our economy. FDR was not a socialist. He had advanced warning, it's true. I do agree with guest 4500, but he was more of a progressive. In the words of FDR. Okay, we just don't want Nazis running the government. I don't want them either. I don't want Nazis running the government either. I want centrists running our government. I want people that answer to a little bit of the left and a little bit of the right at the same time, without costing too much. Because my big concern is the amount of money we're spending. No, I'm not willing to do domestic surveillance on any individuals within the country. At this point, drones are not needed in that respect. We can use them along our borders for surveillance to prevent people from illegally crossing, but using them on our own people is wrong.
I think it's better if you shadow someone in real life, Carly.
Yes, shadow a real person in your area, Carly. It'll help you make connections with your local community and help improve your education opportunities as a teacher. And Ed doesn't want to work. Ed has a right to his own opinion. He too is a citizen of the United States. A lot of people don't want to work, and you know, I can't just make Ed want to do that. Okay, account used to post Foley execution video identified by investigators. FBI identified the social media account used to post to James, a key part of the forensic trail of evidence that leads to the barbaric militants. Fox News story, well, that would be a typical propaganda statement which cannot be validated. Thank you for that. I walk in the cake. Thanks for coming.
I was just reading a little bit about that story that Sunstar was saying about Kansas and Arizona are taking a case about a voter issue to the Supreme Court.
Oh, okay.
Basically saying that people should show proof of citizenship before they are allowed to register to vote.
I heard this is a similar case that was seen by the Supreme Court by Oklahoma. Yeah, people can't see that, so I won't put it out there. But yeah, that's a good story. Voter citizenship should be U.S. citizenship, required to vote. I really believe that across the nation, everyone should present at least some form of identification that shows them they're a U.S. citizen. Why driver's licenses are issued, like the state of Washington will issue driver's license to illegal aliens, and they could literally walk in and, you know, become a voter in the state of Washington if they want. I don't believe any election up to this point has been completely legit. I think the 2000 election with Gore and Bush was rigged. I know that the 2004 election with Ralph Nader was rigged. He's been suing the Democrats over 14 states that he was kept out of. And you can't force a guy like Ed to get a job. And Hill, I understand you're upset about the amount of money we're paying for people like Ed, but I want to cut the cost of helping people like Ed. Yeah, the 2000 election, I think, went illegally toward George W. Bush. Carly loved George W. He's a true man. He got us into 2 wars, Carly. You loved him too, Kentucky man? Okay. All right, well, if George Bush was the guy that you loved, I don't want to, you know, rain on your parade. Oh, you didn't love George W. Bush. Okay. I just feel that we need to move on, and we don't need to start wars. I know, Noble. The whole problem with illegal aliens is never addressed by the 2 parties. I know you don't like the presidency. Yeah, it was rigged for George W. Bush, Kentucky man. Okay, I'd like a future president that responded to the American people. Well, we started along with the coalition of the willing, we started the war in Iraq, which was ratified by the Democrats as well. So George W. Bush kicked it all off. And when asked if he had an exit strategy, he didn't want to respond. So basically, no president that starts wars has exit strategies. When Obama added 68,000 troops to Afghanistan, the price of heroin dropped considerably with all the production we've been guarding. But we haven't really accomplished anything in Afghanistan. So if only we could have an exit strategy, that would be great. I've got an exit strategy for this entire foreign policy, but it involves using automated systems and pulling our troops back and subtracting from the region. Oh, you don't like, I see. Thanks. Awesome, Carl. Yeah, many companies like Whopper are moving to Canada. McDonald's runs an office out of Switzerland. Wow. Because they don't like the tax laws. Obama's made it very unfriendly for businesses. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we understand. It's how do you make tax laws appealing to have corporations in here? Is that really an end goal that we want to do? Because then it's just like appealing to the corporations.
I like corporations growing in population as long as they have fair competition.
You like small businesses.
I like small businesses, small corporations, as long as they have competition. I just don't like monopolies. That's my only position on corporations. I don't like monopolies like Google, who are forming a massive control over the internet. I do want people to invest in the U.S., and I think the 34% in foreign tax on foreign income for American companies is oppressive. People don't want to actually do business here. AlphaDog agrees with me.
One of the things that they just did last year is they made it so that people can't hide their money overseas in the overseas bank accounts. So
that's true. They have a window of opportunity, like a moratorium as well, when they do open up, allow income to come in. But they won't allow people at UBS, the Swiss concern, to hide their income anymore. They really came down hard on 5,000 taxpayers who had investments in Swiss bank accounts, but not one mention of a Cayman Island account. You notice that Barack Obama never investigated Cayman Islands because he and other people like Mitt Romney have accounts there.
Well, last year the law applies to all accounts, whether they're in the Cayman Islands or whether they're in Mogadishu. Or,
well, I hope it works out.
Yeah.
But allowing a moratorium for people to bring money back is kind of a joke too. But John Uncaged said a very good point, because I said closing tax loopholes would be good. He says bye-bye to all businesses in this country. Well, that's why I don't solely support the progressive tax code. I would like to see, ideally, And I'm getting a reprieve tonight because a certain person isn't in the room. We're not seeing the infamous Dan in the room tonight. He constantly gives me crap about this, but I think a flat tax of 10% on businesses that make over 100,000, or even churches that make over 100,000, or individuals that make over 100,000, without loopholes and tax credits would be the way to go. This would automatically be a 10% tax on foreign corporations. Yeah. It would be automatically guaranteed income from all different sources, even churches, like I said. If you can't run a church on less than 100,000, our nation cannot become debt-free unless we start managing our debt and our spending at the same time. The banking system is clearly wrought with corruption. The Federal Reserve is a central bank acting in accordance to World Bank rules, not U.S. concerns. I know. It's a private corporation. They've worked their way into position with the passing of the Federal Reserve Act in 1913. They schemed together in a place called Jekyll Island, Georgia in 1910 and put this plan together, put the legislation out there, and it was signed in 2013. Don't paste all that into the room, please. We don't want to be tied up reading this stuff, Ed. You're getting to be more like a, yeah, just paste a link.
Unusual, yeah.
Yeah. I've reached the point where I'm filtering a lot of information. A lot of people are saying there's a false flag coming up on 9/11, that there's going to be another problem coming up in about, 16 days. This 9/11 was also the fateful day that Chris Stevens died, the ambassador Chris Stevens died. Many people, I have to be aware that if there is some sort of an event that occurs, we all should be prepared by building some sort of a bag in your car filled with stuff that you can use to survive.
Or just have enough stuff in your house to lock down.
I know, thank you. Having stuff in your house is important too, like keeping supplies. Did you try some of this pasta yet?
No.
Why don't you try some, and I'll stay here.
I will in 15 minutes,
okay.
14 minutes. Did you have some?
Yeah, I had my pasta. It's really good. I used chipotle sausage to make this wonderful red sauce, marinara.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was somebody completely unrelated to you, Carl. I didn't realize that they were trolling. So.
I don't live off the dime of the government, Mr. Big Mr. E. I don't take any government money whatsoever. Well, the only service they have, Noble, is to keep lowering the interest rate. And now that the interest rate is nearly zero and they can't move it, they become ineffective.
Lower the interest rate and flood the market with dollars.
They are flooding the market with dollars, which is another ineffective thing. What happens with this type of economy we have, the Keynesian economy, is it creates liquidity traps. Yes, Dirty Wars is on Netflix. It's really good. It talks about a lot of the unnecessary killings that have gone on under Bush and Obama.
It was like one guy's perspective. He was an embedded journalist during Iraq, and so it's really from one guy's perspective.
Yeah, and in a way it could be a buffer against swings, but what it does is it creates liquidity traps. Those people that get all that money, the $65 billion per month for mortgage-backed securities, they tend to just sit on it. They're not reinvesting it in the government or in the economy. I know. Well, Ron, there's an end to this cycle of printing money. It's called massive inflation. And some countries, like Argentina, experienced it 20 years ago and had to reel from the horror of it. They had people with PhDs roaming through garbage cans just to survive in Argentina 20 years ago. Bradley Manning is not going to get free sex change operation to become Chelsea. I would not allow that as president. If a person wants to donate to Bradley Manning's and he could develop a donation fund for his sex change in prison, I can understand that, but we're not going to give him any money whatsoever for that.
Well, Robert, when religion is taught in school, it's taught as cultures, and there's many different religions that are taught at the same time, usually in a class. So it's not like indoctrination.
I do want to release low-level drug offenders from the prison system, cut the cost to the state for our prisons, begin decommissioning a lot of these private prisons that have formed recently. We're not religious, no. We will educate the nation on saving money.
What would you have done about Bradley Manning? I think what happened.
I would not pay for his sex change operation. Yeah. Would I have given him a pardon? No, at this point, until he could prove to me that he didn't violate national security. However, I've talked about giving him a pardon, and I would give him a chance to plead his case to me. Well, I can't change the power system in America, but a third party will definitely put a chink in their little game plan. I don't support a global new world order, and I'll be very outspoken about that. And I think the American people, I will legalize pot, yes. It's the first thing I'll do. The American people don't want a new world order. They just want a good, solid country, run for Americans, by Americans. We don't need intruders and interlopers in our nation telling us what to do. We don't want an overtaking national government with a police state either.
What was your big issue, Mr. Big E? I think it went off screen. No, I don't frequent pot dispensaries.
There's supposedly a person on the island that sells pot. I talked to her on the phone briefly, and she just said, yeah, we don't have any right now. They haven't released the mold-free stuff. So,
we will either speak to you here on Vaughn in 2016 or via whitehouse.gov in 2016.
John says a mouthful there. What we want are jobs and wealth we once had. John, let's make this happen. Let's get our country back, okay? We have a separate legal entity called the United States of America. When you vote for me as president, you're voting for a brand new direction to support the people of the United States of America, not the United States Corporation. I have no allegiance as president to the United States Corporation. So we'll begin to get our country back just having a third-party president. I will not be attending any secret meetings with billionaires like the Waltons. The Walton family is the richest family in the world. I will not be secretly meeting with them. Any meeting will be public. All Bilderberg meetings should be public as well. I'll be running this election all my life. I've already made a commitment to that. I've never given up that commitment. 2016 might be the place where we need to get on the ballot in some states. We were hoping for a bigger crowd, but we're getting a bigger crowd now, so maybe I think we can pull this off. We've got a year and a half, or a year and a quarter to do this. And a lot of people don't realize that when we get attacked by people in the chat room, what they have is a lot of hostility toward what we do. We're likable people, we're average people, and we're likable, and that really bothers a lot of people, especially elitists that don't understand what we're doing.
Yeah, so true. Some people don't like what we're doing. I don't know why. Really.
Let's go guest off on this. Okay, I'm going to go take a break and basically feed the fish. I'll be back. So we showed a little bit about, I showed John Kerry's clip where he believed that JFK was killed by somebody other than Lee Harvey Oswald. I showed Joint Special Operations Command, JSOC. I'll leave that up if you want.
Okay.
That's JSOC's nomenclature there. They're the ones that were involved in a lot of the targeted hits on innocent people.
Yeah, it's true.
I thought we turned off guest.
I thought I did too.
Go ahead and do guest off again, please. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes, Laura. Exactly. Okay. Yes, less of that. How was your day? A walk in the cake. Okay. My day was pretty good, I have to say. All right. Emmy Awards were what, yesterday? I did not see them. Obama approves air surveillance of ISIS in Syria. Oh, good. Thank you. I'm glad that happened, Delora. Yeah, the Emmys are like the, wasn't it like daytime television or television things like that? You love us as humans. You hate that you choose politics to ruin you. It's a greed that you will never support. Mr. Biggie, Big Mr. E, you don't like politics at all. You don't think that we should try to change our country. We just feel that we should try to change our country, and that politics is a method to do so. I have no feeling about that, Kim Young, because I don't really watch that. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thanks, Rodney. Yes, Ed. No, we didn't. No, we didn't do that. Okay. Here's a link, one of two you have. Oh, Western journalism. You want change, but not changing of the guard. I can understand that. And you haven't seen any from us, is what you're saying? Or you haven't seen any in the country? It just seems to always be the changing of the guard rather than change of the system. Maybe it's not politics that can actually create a changing of the guard. Hello, Thunder. Oh. I don't want to watch this. Okay. So Jesse Jackson is left speechless after a Black Ferguson protester calls him out in an epic rant. Interesting. Okay. And this is number 2. Man discovers something shocking in his newly purchased home. 2 people were squatting in the home he had just recently purchased, and now he's having a hard time making them move. Politics create the guard, yes. Oh, who were you talking about, Alpha Dog? Oh, Beyonce did that? Okay. Yes, I have them professionally sharpened to look like things. I do that weekly. Yeah, the sad thing, yes, many people can live in homes and then sell homes that people are living in. Oh. Would you like a president with spot-on teeth, or one that's a smart working one that's smart and working for blue-collared people? Military are the shills. Viagra King says military are the shills who agree to help the corrupt governments ruin bankers. Help the corrupt government ruin by bankers. How in the heck is invading other countries defending our freedom? Yeah, exactly. We want everybody else to play nice, even though we came in and basically invaded this continent, and then we had a big revolutionary war. It's crazy, but now everybody should play nice. Here, I'll help you spell curious. Cure, C-U-R, like here. E is Y-O-U-S, curious. Okay. Obama has authorized surveillance flights over Syria. They want to, they're concerned about how to target the Sunni extremists without helping Bashar al-Assad. You're welcome. I'm one of those spelling things. I have no idea what Alpha Dog, but Sugar Night? Oh. Oh, you guys are having a conversation in between yourself. Okay. Well, did you know George Washington had no teeth? They were all fake by the time he became president. They're sending in manned and unmanned reconnaissance flights over Syria using drones and possibly U-2 spy planes. They're saying how many people can squat in homes. All they have to do is turn utilities on to be considered legal residents, even if the home is up for sale and empty. Wow, that's pretty interesting. Who's my favorite past presidents? Well, I'd say most people's is Kennedy. So I also like a president named Grover Cleveland. He's actually one of my favorite presidents. The reason I like Grover Cleveland is because he kind of pushed to keep the gold standard longer, and he also he was the only president to serve in two non-consecutive terms, and he actually got married in the White House too. So Grover Cleveland. Sometimes you can be arrested for trespassing, but there's also things like squattering and squatters' rights. And sometimes people can squat on certain land and then claim ownership of that land. Yeah, I didn't mind Clinton, but I know some people say that there's some kind of Clinton death count. Yeah, a soft spot for Reagan. Okay. So the Pentagon is drafting military options that would strike the Islamic State. They're still calling it ISIS in the news. Basically near the borders of Iraq and Syria, rather than dropping bombs deeper into Syria. Thank you, America's Only Party. I am a little familiar with Lyndon LaRouche. I mean, I've read a little bit of paperwork. I know that he was part of, he worked for Reagan a little bit, and I know he's a much older gentleman. And he has a major PAC that he's trying to, you know, raise funds at. Yeah, his people are always campaigning in college campuses. Yeah, he definitely is not taking control. That's why I would say that's his biggest problem, is he's not taking control. So they're trying to move to bolster American support for the moderate Syrian rebels who view Mr. Assad as their main foe. So they're continuing to fund rebels in Syria, hoping that these rebels don't join the Islamic State. Bizarre.
Will never, ever be president. Ever.
Pardon? Okay. Thanks for stating your opinion.
Bullshit. You will never be president. You will never be president.
Thank you for stating your opinion.
You're wasting your time.
It's my time to waste. So I can spend my time any way I'd like. And you can spend your time any way you like.
Why are you wasting your time?
I choose to do this show and waste my time and talk to people like you. Because I also believe in actually encouraging people to step up and pursue their own dreams, pursue what they believe in.
No, I don't waste my time.
You're wasting your time talking to me right now. Because you're somehow convinced that by telling me that I'm wasting my time, that I'll say, oh, you're right, and then yeah, exactly. You are wasting your time right now. So you feel like, oh, maybe by saying I'm wasting my time, I'll stop broadcasting or something like that. But it's not going to happen. So actually, I'm broadcasting to a lot more than that, but in a different area, Supo-Kemer. So, yeah. The truth is fantastic. I think, truth is also, some people say truth can be subjective. Yeah, that picture was funny, Carl, with the squiggly lines of the, on the road, things like that. I know, exactly. Everyone can spend their time the way they would like to spend it, and I really feel like, well, I want to encourage people I really want to encourage people to do what they want to with their time, and then also I want to encourage people to make the country, make their community, make their world a better place, just one small step at a time. And I think that is just building people up, really. Oh yes, Carl. Sometimes like that happens. So, thanks for letting us know your opinion.
Blackface. Alright. That idiot making a blackface. Yeah.
So there's.
What a stupid thing.
The California wine country had a big earthquake, and they have seen losses.
For help on the internet by doing.
Yes, I'm crying for help for our country on the internet. Help the country, people! The California wine country has losses in the billions with a big earthquake. Hundreds of millions of dollars. It was 6.0 earthquake. It's the biggest to hit California's Bay Area in 25 years. You think I'm not at odds with everything that David says, Palpatine. We agree on the border issue. We agree on, I would say, every other issue, you'd say. I don't think I agree. I disagree with him a lot. I mean, there's certain things I don't like to focus on, and that, but it's not that I disagree with him. You live in the UK? Okay. Oh, okay. Sure. I think you should take a second online person and online dating person and look at yourself and contemplate on what is going to make you feel better. And, you know, sometimes you can't always find a girlfriend, but you can believe in yourself. Yeah, we can all agree to disagree at times. Yeah, exactly. I believe in focusing on solutions, and I think that there are a lot of solutions that we can build up. And you know, I do tend to think that as far as other countries, I kind of tend to be just focus on trying to stay out of other countries. But I do have to say the spread of the Islamic State that is definitely troubling. If we disagree, we don't step over people that we disagree with either. Sometimes I can step over people I disagree with. All right, you're now here to appreciate me for the duration of a few minutes. I don't know why you're blocked on Skype. I am not using Skype, so maybe it's just because I haven't been in there approving people. And I did go in and block a whole bunch of people just a long time ago. Yeah, some people are mean, and I tend to be a nice person. So I think it's a good thing to be nice. Yeah, exactly. It's good to not go onto Skype except to talk to who you want to. No, Alpha Dog, thank you. But yeah, you know, it is sometimes difficult to have trolls, but I know everybody that broadcasts is exposed to that, so it's not a big deal for me. You have some links for David that backs his theory on Obama, but he doesn't trust you, so go ahead and post the link, Captain Howdy, and I'll tell him, hey, when he starts reading them and he's like, hey, these are really cool links, and I'll say, they're from Captain Howdy 82.
Online dating pimp, wasn't you, Jerry? So.
Well, I support everyone pursuing their dreams. That's what I support. I don't know what that means, Nancy Grace.